Today we're joined by Renzo de Castillo, an amazing award-winning poet whose journey from healthcare professional to literary voice speaks to the power of following one's calling. He has written an amazing collection of poems called Still that was able to top the Amazon's bestseller lists with the help of his own dedication, but also the support of the Authors on Mission team. So we're going to be talking today about his experiences with writing and with the marketing process. So Renzo, thank you for joining us today. Are you ready to answer a couple questions?
Yes, I am. It's a pleasure, Daniel.
Awesome. Well, my first question to you is why did you want to write your book?
I had something to say. I had something to say, and I wanted to. I don't know if I was preoccupied with legacy, but I wanted something tangible to add to my and my family's footprint, right? Like my grandmother has written a number of books in Peru, and I wanted to put down the story of my family. I recently shared with you that, when I wrote this book, a number of people in my life that I loved had passed away. And I wanted to tell their story, not necessarily literally, because that comes with problems on its own, especially with the people that are still alive, but at least thematically, right? I wanted to share what I knew about these people that I loved. And I hope that you guys, whoever reads the poems or the book, love them a little bit as well. So that's why I wrote the book.
Thank you so much for sharing all this. And now, why did you choose Authors on Mission to, help you out with this journey? What led you to us?
Sure. My publisher is an independent publisher and while great at publishing. She would be the first to admit that at that time, her marketing arm wasn't as developed. And I have a good friend of mine, Esther Zeledin, who is, I believe, also an Authors on Mission client, or alumni, whatever you want to call her. She recommended Vikrant to me. So I had a sit down with Vikrant. We hit it off. And since I already wrote my book and it was published, we looked at some ancillary services that you guys had. It was getting me booked on podcasts, which I hadn't done at that point. It was also writing reviews, getting reviews on Amazon for the book, because that helps with getting to a number one bestseller status, as well as the number one Amazon number one bestseller package. And it was also the audiobook, which is also available on Amazon. All of those things were discussed with Vikrant and got to working with the team and we made it happen.
Oh, thanks for that. Next question. You answered how your experience was. I assume it was a positive experience. What were some of the results that came out of our services that you found beneficial?
Sure. So it was a collaborative experience. Nothing happened exactly right or as I envisioned it at the beginning, but we communicated and got to where we needed to go. The team was, I mean, Vikram was very transparent that I was the first poetry book the group was working with, as well as I was already published. So I wasn't in-house. So you guys were taking a lot of information that was already there. It didn't come from your own processes. So there was some adaptation, right? Like my outputs didn't match your inputs, basically, right? But we worked to get to that place. And, we reached the Amazon number one bestseller in like two or three categories. I forgot exactly what they were. I think Latin American, Caribbean poetry, family poetry, something like that. And then the reviews came in. I think the guarantee was 15 or 20, and we got more than that, which was great. And the podcasts was an incredibly professional experience again, I don't know how to say her name, Jana or Jana. She was incredibly thorough, responsive, even though we were in different time zones, which was a challenge, but I didn't really feel that challenge with the team. And then in terms of the audiobook, Vic was very clear saying, look, we can get somebody that sounds like you or anything, but we love your voice. You should do it. We're gonna guide you and we'll give you this price point for that, which is a different price point than if you guys had found a voice actor with whatever, right? And we got it done. Like if any hardships through the audio book process are solely on my end. My inexperienced self decided to do the whole thing in 8 hours. I didn't want to talk afterwards. That's something you guys definitely do not recommend. I just did it. But it was incredibly rewarding to get it done and see it and having it available on Audible with based on your recommendations with the mic I'm using now, just a very good, clean, crisp sound. So everything that we set out to do, we did more so.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything that you think the Authors on Mission could improve on their services?
The intake process, right? Again, we worked through it, but if you're talking about improving a process, when we get down is I think I mentioned to you before, you can only deliver what I ask you to deliver, right? So I need to be very clear with the target I paint for the team to hit that target. If that is built into the process, it takes that a little bit off the shoulders of a client. Luckily for you guys, I've done project management for years, so I was hopefully helpful to do that. But it makes things easier for you guys on your end. I'm sure they're like getting, I don't remember if it was the audiobook or the Kindle that just kept going back and forth. There were formatting issues, but we ended up addressing it. But if that was built into the process, then that's something that could improve it. But again, we made it through, no complaints.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how streamlining some processes would be very useful, especially like kind of predicting the questions that a client might need to ask or things that they might specify, like how specific they want to be with a certain element of their project. So I'll definitely kind of relay this message out to the team. We could kind of think.
Yeah. And every client's going to be different, but you guys are the same, right? This is something that with my teams, I emphasize, like we don't make a spoon. We work in healthcare and claims processing or whatever, but like this is the unit of value we provide. So some people might be more focused on COPD and some people might be more focused on diabetes, but at the end of the day, we process a claim. So knowing what you need in terms to provide the outcome that you're marketing and putting that as like an input, something as simple as just like an input form at the beginning, could maybe streamline. You're not going to address everything, but it might streamline that process, if that makes sense.
I appreciate that a lot, and I'll relate it to them. I'm not much of a process maker, but I agree. In order to make it simple, I deal with a lot of clients freelancing as well, and the more clear you can be and more adaptive as well, it just leads to more success. So I get that. So I think the other question will be, what are your future plans for using the book? I know it's been out for a while. Do you have any other plans in mind? What's the next steps?
Sure. So I would like to sell it in international bookstores. I was talking to a few of them that has some interest, especially now that it's been a number one bestseller in a number of categories, that it's won a number of awards from places like, what's their name? I actually have it here on the book. There's a sticker on International Latino Book Awards, right? Which is like the fifth biggest book awards ceremony in the US right now. Like winning those awards helps promote its reach, but I would love to get maybe some literary critics to review it, maybe use it in literary circles. My dream with the book is if somebody picks this up, reads it, and it's like, I want to know more. Maybe Renzo's not my thing, but I would love to know more about poetry. Let me read this author or that author. Anybody wants to reach out, I have recommendations, right? Of who you might enjoy or who you might not enjoy, because I think art is necessary. It's necessary in developing empathy and bridging gaps and in having a framework for communicating, especially now when we're in an age where technology, the way that we intake information and process information in our heads, especially the younger generations, has shifted dramatically from when we were kids, when I was a kid. And I see less empathy. I see less ability to dive into details. I see a shorter attention span. Hell, I found myself watching a movie, then going to Wikipedia, reading about the movie so I can go and do something else on my phone while I'm watching a movie. Then why am I watching a movie? Or found myself reading a book and realizing that after 5 minutes I couldn't do it. And then I had to build myself back up to now I can read fully again. I think art allows you to develop those synapses and helps you with more complex forms of communication, which in turn brings about collaboration and I think a better world.
That's beautiful. And you're not the only one who starts going on their phones. Like we find ourselves looking up, like, wait, who was that actor in that scene there for you? Now you're not even watching.
You can stop. I think like Amazon Prime has like you stop it and has like an X ray or whatever, and then you're like, let me see who this actor is and let me see what other movies I can buy, right? So it's that like just enjoy things for what they are, enjoy people for who they are, get to know them instead of just and not necessarily date them, but swiping left or swiping right, metaphorically on them, right? Symbolically on them. Like, I'm going to dismiss what they have to say because they're not like me. Good, they're not like you. What can you learn from them, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of our testimonial today. I appreciate you sharing your experiences with us and to all of our people listening right now. If you have a book out there and you want to spread its reach and get it onto the shelves, get more people reading it, we have many different services tailored to whatever it is you need, whether it's promotion, whether it's getting onto podcasts like Renzo, or maybe you haven't started writing at all and you need to, get into the ghostwriting process, the editing process. We're there for every stage of it. So check us out.